Today's story is Wash Ashore, making art from ocean plastic. Priscilla the parrotfish. Most parrotfish live in coral reefs, which look like colorful gardens but are actually made of tiny animals called polypes. Parrotfish clean the coral reefs by eating the algae that grew on them. The parrotfish rip off chunks of dead coral and grind them up to feed on the algae, polyps, and bacteria inside. The dead coral leaves their bodies as sand. In 1 year, a parrotfish can produce enough sand to fill the sandbox. This sand helps create our beaches. But parrotfish are losing their homes and food. One reason is that plastic trash rubs against the coral and creates open wounds. Plastic also attracts chemicals, antibiotics, and even viruses. They can infect the coral and it becomes sick and dies. Steve the Weedy Sea Dragon. Do you know dragons exist? Yes, they do, but they breathe bubbles, not fire. They don't even have teeth. Instead, they use their snouts like a straw to suck up tiny crustaceans like mysids and sea lice. They're smaller than a house cat, and they're extremely shy. Still, they have a hidden talent. They are ridiculously good at playing hide and seek. Sea dragons are nearly impossible to see, even if you are looking straight at them. They blend in perfectly with the seagrass and kelp forests where they live, but our trash is destroying their perfect hiding spot. We can help protect sea dragons by keeping our beaches clean, so our trash does not reach their homes near the shore. Octovia, the giant Pacific octopus. The giant Pacific octopus is one of the most intelligent creatures in the ocean. It can solve problems, use tools, and communicate by changing colors. Their octopuses make dens in rocks near the shore for their hideouts. They use 8 arms lined with suckers to lasso prey, mainly shrimp, clams, lobsters, and fish. Most plastic enters the ocean from the coast. It can easily get trapped in the rocks where the octopuses live. Some octopuses make their dens in plastic containers that may carry poisonous chemicals or germs. Broken plastic with jagged edges can injure them. Some octopuses have been observed hiding in clear plastic containers, unaware that their prey and predators can easily see them. Maybe it's time to look for a new hiding spot. Zorobel, the Rockhopper Penguin. Most people will never have a chance to observe a rockhopper penguin in the wild. They are near Antarctica on some of the most remote islands in the world. Believe it or not, even these distant shores are littered with plastic. When our trash enters the ocean, powerful rotating currents called gyres link them enormous whirlpools carry out trash around the world. A plastic bottle might enter the ocean in New York and wash ashore next to the Rockhopper Penguin. Plastic has been found on the rocky shores where these penguins live in the water where they hunt. Plastic has ever been found in the krill and small crustaceans they eat. America the sea star. Maybe you heard them called starfish, but sea stars are not actually fish. They do not have gills, fins, or even a backbone as fish do. There is something fishy about sea stars though. They eat inside out. Their stomach comes out of their mouth, eats food, and goes back inside. Thank your lucky stars you're not one of their favorite foods. Mollusks, oysters, and snails. Sea stars populate every kind of marine habitat, including tidal pools, rocky shores, seagrass, kelp forests, and coral reefs. Most plastics in the ocean eventually break up into tiny pieces called microplastics. Some fall on the ocean floor. Sea stars that live a mile beneath the surface of the sea have been found with microplastics in their stomachs. The microplastics may cause them to grow more slowly and lay fewer eggs. Nor the salmon. Salmon can live in both fresh and salt water. They hatch in fresh water where they eat insects and small crustaceans. Most salmon swim to the sea. They mainly eat fish to grow big and strong. As adults, they face the biggest challenge, the salmon run. They return to the river where they were born, sometimes thousands of miles to lay eggs, which is called spawning. They swim against the current and some leap as high as 12 feet to climb waterfalls and dams. They dodge hungry bears and eagles because of the effort required to complete this journey. Most died within weeks of spawning. Each year, millions of pounds of plastic also travel down streams and rivers to the ocean. These plastic can come from unlikely sources. For instance, do you know car tires contain plastic? They're a major source of microplastics in the ocean. Tires also contain a chemical that can kill salmon. Blueberry to sea jelly. Sea jellies have no bones, heart, lungs, or brain. And get this, sea jellies eat and poop out of their same hole. A simple design advantage, sea jellies can thrive anywhere. They live in the warm tropics, in the icy Arctic near the surface, and on the seafloor. They eat fish, shrimp, crabs, tiny plants, and even other jellies. Some host algae that use photosynthesis to make food for them, like plants. They can do it all. Sea jellies are so good at collecting plastic that humans can use their slime to filter microplastics out of sewers. What stinks is that sea jellies are a popular snack for many animals. Let's say a shark eats a sea lion that ate a sunfish that ate a sea jelly. These animals digest the food, but the plastic can stay inside them and travel up the food chain. Edward the Leverback Sea Turtle. The Leverback Sea Turtle is named for its shell, which is soft like a leather shoe. Leatherbacks are the largest turtles in the world. They can grow up to 7 feet long and weigh 2,000 pounds. They spend most of their lives in the open ocean and travel as many as 10,000 miles each year, making them one of the most highly migratory animals. Because leatherbacks mostly eat sea jellies, they often eat plastic bags by mistake. Plastic bags can block their intestines, preventing them from digesting food. Chompers, the tiger shark. Tiger sharks are called the garbage cans of the sea. That's because they will try to eat almost anything. Their prey includes fish, seabirds, dolphins, sea turtles, rays, crustaceans, and even other tiger sharks. But they have been found with tires, license plates, a chicken coop, a bag of money, and you guessed it, plastic in their stomachs. While they are found in many different marine habitats, they prefer to feed near the shore, where most of our trash enters the sea. Tiger sharks are tough, but sharp edges from garbage can damage their organs, resulting in death. Cosmo, the tough puffin. Toughed puffins spend most of their lives at sea. They sleep on the surface of the water and only come ashore to breed. They are diving birds and swim with their wings underwater while catching fish. They're one of the only birds that can hold 10 or more fish in their mouths at once. Puffins also like to pack at food on the plastic trash. They ended up eating the plastic too. Their stomachs fill up with plastic, which they can't digest. They become weak and are eaten or starve. Unfortunately, puffins will eat feed plastic to their chicks. Daisy the polar bear. Polar bears are the largest land carnivores. They live in the Arctic and permanently eat seals, which they can smell from nearly a mile away. Polar bears can't swim as fast as seals, so they depend on sea ice as a hunting platform. Seals cut breathing holes in the ice, and when they pop up for air, the bears snatch the seals with their enormous paws. Other times, seals relax on the ice, give polar bears a chance to sneak up and kill them. Arctic sea ice is disappearing due to climate change. We produce more than 380 million tons of plastic each year. That's roughly the weight of the entire human population. Plastic production and also require burning fossil fuels, which create greenhouse gases. These gases trap energy from the sun in the atmosphere and aggravate climate change. As the Arctic warms, sea ice melts, and more polar bears die of starvation. Lydia the seal. Seals are excellent divers. The elephant seal, for example, can hold its breath underwater for 2 hours. Seals can be found throughout the world, though most of them live in polar seas. Their diet consists mainly of fish, squid, and crustaceans such as crabs, shrimp, and lobsters. Seals and other marine animals often get entangled in ropes, straps, and nets. If they can't move, they start to drown. If they live, the plastic cuts into their skin as they grow. Look closely at the items used to make Lydia's skin. Can you guess how she got her name? Grace the Humpback Whale. Humpback whales swim through each ocean in the world. They eat up to 2,000 pounds of krill, plankton, and small fish every day. Not long ago, however, they were hunted almost to extinction. To protect their animals, commercial whaling was banned in most countries in 1986. These whales represent one of the greatest comeback stories in the ocean. More than half the humpback whale populations have recovered, and they are no longer considered endangered species. It's a good start. This whale's next greatest threat might be our trash. They're getting tangled up to fishing gear that fishers have left behind or are using to catch other animals. We can ensure a bright future for these whales by working together to solve the problem of the plastic pollution. The end.